Global, you are up.
Thanks, Spencer. Hello, everybody. Kevin Kahn here. It's myself and Barbara representing the Global Network. James is not here today, but he is our actual chair. Barbara and myself are our chairs-elect. So I'll start us off with some of the visions and outlook for the future, our charges, and then I'll have Barbara take it away with some of the action planning. So right now, really, Global Network, we're charged to really do just that, make a global network happen. So our first main charge is expanding that, the non-US membership, really thinking how we engage folks outside of the US within Akuho and connect them to our services, our programs and activities, helping connect with other external chapters, organizations, and help them connect within Akuho'i to be part of that programmatically, membership-wise, engaged, etc. Our second charge is to provide programming and network opportunities, whether they be virtual spaces, in person, at Campus Home Live, etc., just to connect and engage in meaningful ways. Oftentimes we hear members don't have that opportunity or don't know how to find that space to connect just because of pure distance, time zone issues, etc. So we're trying to provide spaces for that. And third, we want to support efforts of the Multicultural Programming Committee and find ways to bring a global lens to that effort and really to showcase how we can involve our global membership in efforts to support multiculturalism, diversity, equity in the work that Akuho'i produces and other networks as well. So if there's ways that we can partner as a global initiatives network, GIN, with other committees and bring in that global lens or bring things you're doing to the greater global group, we'd love to have that feedback. So that's kind of our three charges right now. We did put more in review because James isn't here today, so we want to talk with him as well. If there's other things we want to work on, other tasks or projects, we'd love to see if there's a way to take this further. But that's our three main ones. Now I'll turn over to Barbara for the next slide to kind of talk about some of our action plan steps, what we're going to do to make that happen.
Thank you very much, Kevin. I appreciate, and maybe just to advocate for those with softer voices like mine to be given more time, more than 5 minutes in future. Just kidding. Of course, thank you. We did look at our three charges and looked at what we can do under each of those. So under the charge one, Akuho'i involvement and promotion, we talked about the need to engage with global colleagues. And in that case, we'll intentionally identify those global colleagues that we can work with in that space in promoting our association. And that also involves like engagement in terms of webinars, apart from the global connections and opportunities at the Campus Home Life in a way that is also semi-structured as well, and share information as well as make some presentations, like I said, through some guests making some presentations globally. We would intentionally identify some people that can do that, and we'll be so grateful if colleagues can join us in some of these initiatives. And then also we'll use our platform also to share current events and share happenings and global offerings, like kind of a two-way process whereby we take the initiatives or events that are happening from Akuho'i to the world, and taking what is happening around the world also back and forth. So if we do that, we feel that we'll continue to keep the conversations going. And then charge number two, we're talking about programming and networking, as Kevin said. So we were thinking here of engagement more through publications, as well as Talking Stick, maybe having a dedicated space in our Talking Stick where we can kind of get presentations intentionally around, again, our wonderful globe, and getting people to kind of share their stories and their and trends, and also like any initiatives that they have. This will be like more of actually us also having kind of some templates where we are approaching people to say, hey, can you please, share a story on this and that, And maybe we heard about this that happened in your campus, or you had some crisis that you managed to get around. Can you share some things around this? So we feel that way we will keep people engaged by moving like directly to the people as well, rather than just waiting for people to come through. And then direct programming opportunities, of course, through our campus home life, as well as virtually, and our Kuho'ai chapters, that we have this lovely, wonderful chapters that are doing amazing work. And then therefore, if we engage with them, we can continue the conversations. And then work and support of our Kuho'ai ambassador program. I think most of you are aware of our ambassador program. We have another wonderful initiatives of colleagues who are constantly telling us about what is happening in their countries. And we need to support this and make sure that this really works very well. And we continue the outreach to our global colleagues. And then charge number 3, cross-area involvement. That is, we're thinking of working directly with networks to support efforts of Multicultural Programming Committee. And we could have a member, one of us, being part of that team. But we'll explore again this further on how best to really work with the Multicultural Programming Committee. But we are also saying we see other opportunities with other colleagues also, and initiatives within Kuho'ai that we will want to extend our collaborations and work with them. So yeah, that's how we'll go about it. And again, any other that might come through, as Kevin has mentioned. Thank you, colleagues.
Thanks, Barbara. That covers us, Spencer. Thank you.
Thanks all. All right, appreciate that. Way to start us out. Next up, we have Latine.
Yes, hi everyone. So it'll be myself and Angie will take over as well too, presenting for the Latin Network. We're going to go to the next slide, Spencer. I think one before that. There we go. So for our 2024 goals, what our charges are, I think we want to continue to serve as the primary knowledge base for Kuho'ai members when it comes to Latin and any issues we're seeing on our campuses related to staff and or students, and how we can best support, any support for that as an organization. Our goal is to also host at least 2 virtual roundtables and monthly open network meetings for Kuho'ai members. I think this relates to what we kind of did this past year as a new network and still continuing to grow, and what that looks like being a new network that we're trying to build our membership for. We also hope that we will be able to participate, and I think it's part of our charge as well too, to participate in the Multicultural Symposium and the Multicultural Institute and the Professionals of Colors Network space hosted at the annual conference. So I think this past year there has been some opportunities for some of the networks to host some like gatherings or some open network meetings during some of these, the Multicultural Symposium and the Multicultural Institute. So how can we continue to build on that to garner interest? And also how can we use Campus Home Live, the annual conference, to help build our network as well too as we continue on. I think we're good for the next slide. So how will we do this? So in order for us to continue to grow our network and with engagement, our hope is that we are able to build our social media kind of presence through Instagram. I know other our national professional organizations related to student affairs do have some sort of social media presence and help engaging with members and kind of helping them know what's going on. We hope that we're able to do that by Campus Home Live, so we can start posting a lot throughout Campus Home Live when it comes to building our network and things like that through our social media. And then I know we had conversations about this and looking at how do we use the Kuho'ai communities as a platform to kind of grow organization as well too. And I know other networks are using that. We hope to learn more to be able to do that. And I'll pass it off to Angie to close us out.
Hi, everyone. For our second charge, we're wanting to host those open meetings monthly and then 2 virtual roundtables or panels at least, with an emphasis on collaborating with other networks on educational programming. So we want to identify some topics and content experts for those virtual roundtables and discussion or roundtable discussions and panels. We're thinking about placing an emphasis on connecting with senior housing officers. We also want to seek out more collaborations with other networks on those panels and roundtables. We heard from networks today about the network showcase and how well that went last summer. So hoping to continue and doing another network showcase this summer, shortly after Campus Home Live. We also want to collaborate with another Kuhoi network to plan and implement at least one other virtual roundtable or panel to take place after the Multicultural Symposium in April. And then for our third charge of representing the network and serving on the Multicultural Planning Committee, we're planning on participating in those monthly meetings and providing updates from those meetings to our Latina network during our monthly open meetings. And then looking forward to gathering insight and ideas for programming and events for the group.
Thank
And I think
you.
that's all we had, Spencer.
That's it. You bet. Angie, Michael, thank you so much. Thank you, Latine. And now we're going to move over to Small College University.
Brenda, did you want to say who's after me and who's on deck?
Oh, I'm going to spin a wheel and I'll find out, but
Okay.
you're next.
All right. Good stuff. Hey, all again. Luis Jimenez Hinoa, and representing small colleges and universities in our charge. I'm hoping there are a couple more other pages on there. All right. So we came up with two particular charges that we were looking at again. Our primary responsibility really to serve as advocates for Okuhoi programming and opportunities that reflect the needs of small colleges and institutions, again, defined as 3,000 beds or less, including sharing opportunities amongst professional networks and being able to answer questions. And our second charge that we had was hosting a virtual program 2 times a year, virtual meeting 4 times a year. I think we do that a little bit more. Pre-con, Campus Home Live, to host one there. We did one last year, and I think even the year before, and then to host a social at the social Campus Home Live. So those are our goals, charges. So how we'll get there. The first one that we have is the symposium that's coming up on April 17th. I may have provided the wrong date previously. And so that'll be one of the most significant ways that we do that. There is a link here that is, there is a link here. I think, is that for registration, Meredith? Am I correct in that?
That's registration for our monthly meeting in January.
Registration for the monthly meetings. Oh, thank you. Okay. So every month on the second Tuesday of the month, we get together. We collect a series of questions and we work through those questions. One of the things that I'm looking to possibly add, not just simply to build up our resources and understanding of those, but is to build up our relational capacity. And one of the things that we're thinking about doing is quite possibly every other month introducing some kind of reflective circle that will allow us not just to talk about, again, the work, but one another and to establish those kinds of relationships amongst colleagues as small schools. A particular desire for us to engage regional members and representatives and engage more regions in monthly meetings. And so working towards those things. So those are our action plans for 2024.
Thank you so much. All right, our next 3 up are going to be academic initiatives, business operations and housing facilities conferences, and APITA. Those are our next 3. So academic initiatives, you're coming up here.
Hi, everybody. So my name is Amanda Crew-Jenkins. My first question is Kiana back on the call? She had a campus power emergency, so
I think
no.
she must still be without power.
Okay, so Meredith, jump in whenever you feel like you should jump in. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so our conference is October 7th through 10th in Portland, Oregon. We're really excited to see this new venue and get to know the area a little bit better. Part of that is we're working to recruit a greater planning team. Right now we have some folks interested in the programmatic aspect of it, but we are doing some targeted marketing / shoulder tapping to folks that live in the area that are Kuhuai members and their connections. So shameless plug, if you know anybody that you think would be great to get involved in academic support, please let us know. Our 3 charges are to identify futuristic and cutting edge content. Academic initiatives are changing, right? It's no longer just learning curriculum or learning communities and curriculum. Our students are truly learning community living and peopling and advocacy and a lot of other things that help define academic success for themselves. And so we're working to make sure our content is broad enough, yet still targeted on the academic success topic. We're looking to be intentional about promoting the conference, doing some targeted marketing and doing some, at least one virtual roundtable along the way, making sure that the people that do the residence education work are seeing the value in coming to Portland in October. And then our last charge is establishing opportunities for engagement leading up to and throughout the conference. It is great doing an in-person conference, but the work and the need for that collegial support happens year-round. And so wanting to make sure that we're able to keep people engaged before, during, and after. Some of that being virtually, some of that being, webinars, some of that just being the conversations and promoting article writing and review for the talking stick and just getting to know all of your lovely faces and your campuses. Meredith, I know I missed something. How did I do? What did I miss?
I think you covered it. I think that big piece now is we could certainly use some help, especially from folks in the Pacific Northwest. If you might want to consider serving as a local arrangements person, we'd love to hear from you.
And it looks like Dave's helping you out in the chat as well. So thank you, AI. Next up is going to be business operations and housing facilities conferences. Looks like you're doing a tag team of slides.
Yes, that's me. So my name's Aubrey Smith. I serve as the Housing Facilities Conference Chair for this year. And this year we are having a joint conference with Business Operations, Academic Initiatives. We will miss you. Spencer, next slide. So we did not put our conference dates on here, but our conference is October 27th through the 31st. So we will be there for Halloween. Woo! And we will be in Bethesda, Maryland. So kind of same shameless plug that AI just did. If anyone is in the area and willing to serve on local arrangements, we would love to have you. So a couple of our big things that we're looking to do this year is we are looking to increase engagement with Akuhoai and APA. We want to be very intentional with the members who are attending the conference and making sure that they understand ways to get involved, not just with the conference committee, but with all of these lovely committees that we see presenting today. So we want to make sure that we're sharing that information while we're all together. So, excuse me, we're looking at connecting with the conference sessions, which would allow this to happen in person. And then we're looking at doing some passive information that we can pass out throughout the conference. I apologize if you hear my dog barking in the background. We are also looking to engage members and recognize member achievements. So we're looking at additional social activities that we're going to have at the conference itself. And then Business Operations has historically done a marketing awards. And so we're looking to expand that within facilities, which we have not done before. So we're pretty excited about that. And then possibly look at adding additional topics, excuse me, that we could do awards for in the future. We're also looking at some very intentional roundtable programming. Roundtables are very popular at our conferences, and we want to make sure that we are having targeted topics and people attending can get what they need, as well as intentional timing so that these roundtables are not occurring at the same time as programs for people who have decided to come and present. We know that that's very important and we really appreciate them taking that time. So we want to try to schedule those so those conflicts do not occur. And we're going to do all of this through regular committee meetings, lots of communication, and looking to involve our committee members and always recruit more committee members so that we can kind of continue this cycle of wonderful conferences. Thanks, Spencer.
Thank you. Next up, we have Apita. Shucks. And if we lost our Apita person, we can come back. Coming up in the future, we have mid-level. We have the CHI Engagement Committee, and we have the Exhibits Committee. So mid-level, CHI, and Exhibits. We're going to move over to mid-level.
Thank you, Spencer. Hello, everyone. Let me go ahead and click. Awesome. So things to know, it will be April 8th through 11th, 2024 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Our team structure consists of chair, I'm Crystal A, chair-elect, and a consultant in residence, 3 faculty members, and the wonderful Meredith. So you can see our pictures down below and a little save the date in the corner. Registration is open, so please encourage your team members to go ahead and apply. More things to know. We have confirmed our keynote speaker. We're very excited to have Julie Lancaster, who is known as a leadership development expert and master business strategist, who will be coming in to connect with the group on our opening night. Our registration numbers right now, as I shared, registration is open and we have 22 registered participants. That's super exciting. We always aim to have 40 participants and we're over halfway there. Goals, vision, and outlook. So our goals, as we thought about this next season, we have 4. So first, recruit a talented group of faculty and a consultant in residence, check. Create institute sessions that are in alignment with the ACUA-I competencies with a focus and emphasis on equity and inclusion. Utilize the participant feedback that we got last year to develop and revise learning outcomes for the institute sessions. And 4th, explore the possibility of establishing additional opportunities for increased engagement amongst cohorts and faculty members throughout the institute. That's feedback we got. We have a cohort structure, but they're saying, hey, we want to get to know folks outside of our cohort and get more time with the faculty who are not over our cohort. So really good feedback that we got last year. And how will we reach our goals? Conducting faculty meetings that incorporate activities that not only articulate clear expectations for the roles of our faculty, but also cultivate enthusiasm and excitement for the Institute. Utilize potential new ideas to enhance the participant experience, such as video introductions before their arrival, and some other cool things that I know the ACUA-I team is working on. We're going to review the participant feedback and finally having regular communication with our sponsor Folio and how they contribute to the participant experience. And that's all, folks.
Thank you, Crystal, and thank you, mid-level. We're going to move to CHI.
Hello. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm Dave Crane. I'm the chair of the Campus Housing Initiative group. We have some goals for this upcoming year. Our first and foremost is to recruit a chair-elect, which would be a big step for this group. Along with that, we're going to try to realign our appointment process to align with the calendar year. In prior years, it was more on a kind of a school year, fiscal year process. We'll be looking to assemble the index advisory panel. This is the tool. The index gets looked at once every 3 years, and so this is a time to do that. So we'll be assembling the advisory panel to evaluate and make recommendations and potentially modifications to the CHI instrument. We're also looking to author or co-author CHI publications with the home office staff, and that'll likely be a series of one-pagers or kind of blog posts that will be about data and kind of hopefully get people's interest and buy-in into using the Campus Housing Index. We're also wanting to really push folks to present mostly regionally, but also potentially at Campus Home Live about how they've used the CHI data to inform their work, kind of in a case study format. And then we assist with the CHI engagement during data collection and once results are released to kind of prompt folks to use that information. I think we can go to the next slide. Yep. So to reach our goals, I'll be doing some direct outreach to folks to solicit applications for the chair-elect role, recruiting the stakeholders for the IAP participation, review the CHI instrument draft recommendations, and submit a report to the Home Office by the end of 2024. And we actually have milestones for each quarter of this coming year. And then myself or a co-chair or chair-elect will submit publication ideas and collaborate with folks at the Kuhoai Home Office. And again, that's mostly one-pagers, talking stick stories, and blog posts. And then we're also looking to present to groups. So if you have a group of folks where just an overview of the Campus Housing Index might be helpful, might get folks to take a look at that tool, by all means, let myself or Tori know, and we're happy to kind of outreach and put together a 15 to 20 minute overview of the Campus Housing Index and how it can help inform your work. Also looking at doing some email outreach, recording testimonials, finding users to share their experiences with the CHI data and how that's been beneficial to them.
Thanks so much, Dave. Coming up next, the Exhibits Committee.
Hello, everyone. So our goals are our committee members will serve as ambassadors to exhibitors and cultivate relationships to promote the events and future events. Create a roadmap plan for how to interact with those new and seasoned exhibitors. Promote conference attendance by contacting network and corporate professionals, and staffing the on-site exhibitor registration throughout the conference, and creating a manual for exhibits committee to pass down information consistency and concisely. The last one is kind of important because we've had some changeover both in the Home Office and our committee, so we don't have a whole lot to pass on from year to year. So we are going to be starting something new to pass on from year to year. So when Kim takes over next year, she'll have something get for me to pass on to Kim, and so on and so forth from now on. Next one, Spencer. Thanks. And then how we're going to accomplish these is creating a SharePoint for the group. We're going to be asking IT for help from, I guess, Miss Kim. I haven't met her yet, but at the Home Office. Having meeting time with our chair-elect Mandy and Heaven, and finalizing a meeting time with our entire exhibits committee group. Working on that manual I was talking about, working with past chairs to gather past committee materials and information, and define roles and responsibilities for the campus home life for committee members. So when those committee members show up, they actually have an idea what they're supposed to be doing at the conference. And identifying main contacts for campus home life exhibitors. Creating FAQs of exhibitors for conference attendees, and creating communication for brand new exhibitors and keeping them engaged prior to campus home life. So when those new exhibitors show up, they're not clueless, or they have a better connection to our conference. So they feel more comfortable and feel at home when they show up as well. So that's it, Spencer. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Let's see who's coming up next. We have Awards and Recognition, Housing Facility Services, and Sustainability coming up next. So, Awards and Recognition.
Hi, everybody. My name is Katie Pelton, and I am the current chair for the Awards and Recognition Committee. So we are going to focus this year on creating opportunities for year-round recognition of our association members, because we have identified that a lot of times our recognition is only coming right at the conference. And so trying to expand those opportunities outside of just what we announce at Campus Home Live. We want to make sure that we're also keeping in mind that we are a global association, and reaffirming that our awards and recognition criteria is inclusive for all of our global partners, specifically realizing or nodding to the fact that a lot of the awards might be based on traditional US staffing structures and needs. And so just wanting to make sure that we keep the I in Akuho eye. So global initiatives, we may be reaching out to you for some help with that. And then also increasing the visibility of the awards process for regions and institutions that we don't typically have award nominations coming from. So to do that, with the year-round piece, we have been given some information. There might be a new award about health and wellness coming out that would be accepting nominations on a rolling basis. And so we are going to get into that with Ms. Holly, who's not able to be here today, just to get some more information and start to roll that out to our membership. We want to work with our committee to discuss options to include recognition efforts in the talking stick if that group is something or willing to be open to that. And then trying to brainstorm ideas outside of our formal awards so that we can continue to recognize our members with all the great things that we know we do year round. To reaffirm the awards and recognition criteria with our global component, we are going to work on tapping into membership outside of the US just to see if we can have a conversation with those individuals about the applicability of our awards criteria to the global community, just to make sure that, again, we're including everybody that is part of our association. And then with the increased visibility of the awards process, we do want to utilize our professional networks to encourage more nominations from specifically our smaller regions. And it says small areas, that should say small schools. I'm not very good at editing my own work, so we'll update that. And then direct outreach to regional associations with the suggestion that they're submitting their quality awards to Akuho eye, because the other thing that we know is a lot of the timeframes work really well for regions to have their awards process happen, and then that can filter into Akuho eye. And then also just doing focus groups and outreach to non-US members about any perceived or real hurdles regarding award submissions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Housing Field Facilities Services Committee.
Yes, hey everybody, Ray Aber, Emory University. So we sat through and talked about some goals, if you want to, for our committee coming up in 2024. First off is we really want to increase our participation and engagement within our facilities colleagues out in the profession. And we want to do this across all Akuho eye events and platforms. We want to be more diligent with responding to the posts that happen on the listservs and helping provide our colleagues who are asking questions related to facilities and need solutions. We also want to make contributions more regularly to some of the programming that's happening within the association. So conferences, we want to encourage our membership within our committee to submit proposals. We want to target some knowledge for talking stick articles and encouraging credentialing amongst our members, whether that be for the CEFP program or the Akuho eye program. We also want to collaborate with other networks as subject matter experts to contribute to education of members. This was something that got brought up at the networking conversation earlier today, that a lot of people were looking for some engagement with us as facility members specifically. So if you want to next slides. So to do this, we want to increase participation engagement by establishing, consistent structure for our monthly meetings, including predetermined topics, special guests, etc. We want to promote that within, letting people know what we're going to be talking about, where our goals are for those monthly meetings, so that people know how they can connect and what to expect. We also want to promote corporate partner connections within those monthly meetings and other opportunities when we connect to help kind of look at educational components in order to provide actionable solutions to the problems that our colleagues are facing on their own campuses. We want to make regular contributions to programs, as we said, by engaging one-on-one with our members who are sharing their expertise within the platforms like the Talking Sick and social media, to have going directly to people, encouraging them to submit those proposals and to write those articles. Develop a calendar of posting an online community with topics from our members, just so that we can engage with what's relevant for our membership, and then to collaborate, like I said, with other groups by reaching out to our volunteers in this arena here, to see what we can do as facilities experts and come in and help share what we know.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Next up, we have sustainability.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lisa. I'm the chair for the sustainability group. Paola is our chair-elect, but I'll be going over the slides. So we have two main goals for this year. One, to ground our content in sustainable development goals for thematic discussions and learning as we promote our schedule of meetings and discussions, so on and so forth. And then two, to promote an idea share for Campus Sustainability Month, which is in October. Traditionally, everybody thinks about sustainability in April, but every month we should think about sustainability, and in particular in higher ed in October. Next slide. Okay, so actions related to that. So the grounding the content in sustainable development goals. Want to showcase content experts around the topics that connect to the SDGs. So there's 17 goals. We talked about this morning in a lot of our connection meetings about people that were interested in collaborating with sustainability. And I think a lot of the different groups connect specifically to sustainable development goals, and that'll be a really great way to showcase how all of the work that we do affects global action towards sustainable development. We want to work on providing content on discussion boards related to content from SDGs, regularly sharing content, do cross collaboration. We can come to people's things, people come to our things around the topics related to SDGs. And then hopefully maybe leveraging campus tour opportunities at conferences to promote sustainability features and programs in action. And then promoting the idea share for Campus Sustainability Month. So hopefully utilizing social media and the online community to engage and share in ideas in advance of October's Campus Sustainability Month.
Thanks, Lisa. Right, coming up next, we have LGBTQIA+, Stars College, and the Black Professionals Network. So let's move over to LGBTQIA+.
Hello, everyone. My name is Malibu Taylor. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the co-chair for the LGBTQ+ Professional Network. Want to shout out Ali Gary, who is the chair for our network, who is doing some big travel today, so could not make it, but nice to be in space with all of you. And yeah, next slide. So our goals for 2024 want to serve as primary knowledge base to educate members of ACUHO-I and the issues and needs of professionals who identify as LGBTQIA+, specifically with as it relates to campus housing. I think in a lot of our DEI work and trainings, we think often of, the LGBTQI identities in a big social context, but recognizing that even sometimes with the fact that we are live-in professionals, sometimes there can be some additional challenges with that, whether it be names, different like marriage and partnership stuff, all kinds of those things that can sometimes be a little bit more difficult, specifically based on those identities. We want to really ramp up our virtual roundtables for this upcoming year as well. I know this is I'm just stepping into join as a chair, and have seen a lot of really great effort and work put forth by Ali previously, including the one working with Global Initiatives Committee and Network. And so wanting to continue on that great work this upcoming year. And then like many of you looking to participate in planning our Akuho'ai annual multicultural symposium and participate in the Multicultural Institute. The Multicultural Institute is kind of how I got my step in to start with getting involved in the network a little bit more than just a attendee. So definitely wanting to continue to reach out to our network space and hopefully pull in folks there. All right, so how we want to accomplish our goals, Ali and I have pretty much scheduled the different topics from February through November, recognizing January we're focusing on this and folks are kind of easing back into it, also recognizing for December that sometimes that doesn't really exist for folks. For our different topics that we have for our roundtables, Ali took note yesterday of in the space of many of you all who had talked about wanting to do collaborations. So we've got a short list of folks that had really wanted to do and engage in that space that we plan on reaching out to and collaborate for some of those roundtables. Also wanting to mix between that and having open informational sessions where we're inviting everybody in to kind of come learn and speak to LGBTQ identities, as well as having some closed community sessions. We specifically picked some times of the year that are a little bit more high stress for folks, and recognizing maybe we just want to have some queer spaces that are a time to build community, a time to share any joys or frustrations that are going on. We also have picked our dates and are trying to go with some alliteration advertising, things being the third Thursdays. Hoping that helps folks be able to really set and put that on their calendars in order for attendance. Some other involvement goals we have for Campus Home Live. I'm planning on being there and attending this summer, so getting to connect with folks in person, hopefully, and continue on from there.
Thanks, Malibu, and really looking forward to it. All right, Stars College.
All right. So I am Sasha Matsumi. I am Stars College Chair for 2024. We are still looking for a chair-elect, so if you know anyone. So some of our goals relate to sort of updating Stars College curriculum to align more with some of the changes in entry-level positions and roles. Thinking about, is grad school always the next step, bachelor-level positions, things like that. Also updates around Akuho'ai core competencies, also some of the workforce development conversations we're having. What does it mean to be a emerging professional? What may it look like to be an entry-level professional? And are we preparing our STARS alumni for those positions, right? So we also want to try to scaffold with the curriculum of other Akuho'ai institutes. So NHTI, Mid-Level Leadership Institute, and make sure that we're aligning with some of the things that they're going to talk about potentially at those other institutes further in their career. Another goal is sort of to actively engage or increase engagement on our STARS social media. It's one of our biggest promotion avenues is through social media. Some of our target markets, so Instagram is really where we try to get participant engagement. Also, the word I use is sponsors, sort of the people who are either going to encourage people to apply for STARS, maybe even financially support STARS participation, and then those supervisors. So newer professionals who are in-hall staff, who are directly supervising potential participants, I'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute, but there's a gap because we had a few years of not having stars, and usually it's maybe 2-3 years ago alumni who are encouraging their current staff to, or their student leaders or their hall council reps to apply to stars. And so because we had 2 years of no stars and then a couple years of trying to dip our toes back and our numbers were really low, we don't have that same group. And so our Instagram is not just to try to get participants, but we're also trying to engage newer professionals, entry-level professionals, to encourage them to promote this to their undergraduate students in their networks. And then our Facebook is really where we engage with our alumni network, as well as some sponsors and supervisors as well. Typically more of the advanced professionals in those spaces. I want to increase and reinvigorate STARS College name recognition and value, again, for that same gap, that 3-4 years of gap of people. I will go to Campus Home Live and people won't know what STARS is. So trying to figure out ways to increase with our potential participants, those mentor supervisors, and then the AVPs, the SHOs, sponsors. Why is it valuable? I've had some interesting conversations, particularly at the AVP level, where they said, you know, it's interesting when these were in-person conferences, I would pay for students to go. Now, can I really afford it out of my budget, even if it's $50, to sponsor an undergrad who will probably take this knowledge and leave my institution? So how do we share with them the benefit to their institution by supporting students to attend? I want to help our STARS College faculty feel better prepared for their role. We did some assessment. I did some assessment this last year with former faculty, and I learned that several of them didn't feel necessarily prepared. So one of my commitments, one of the things I'll talk about with my action items, is doing faculty education and preparedness. I have some great former faculty who are willing to lead those sessions with our new faculty to help them prepare. And then I have a goal of 80 registrants. And so that's just something I'm hoping to have. And then increase the value of involvement in a KUOI to our participants. So after they leave STARS, are they going to get engaged with the KUOI afterwards? And hopefully, do I expect everyone? No, but increasing, because of STARS involvement, they're increasing involvement in a KUOI. Next one. Perfect. So how will I reach this goal? So in November, I set up 6 work groups, or reintroduced a few of them. So they had gone away for the last few years. I carried over some knowledge I had from when I was faculty in 2017 through 19, some being on faculty in NHTI. So I stole some of that for some of the other groups. And so I have a participant selection committee and recruitment committee, a faculty selection committee, a faculty training committee, a curriculum development, social media. So I created these 6 work groups. We have 5 returning faculty and 6 new faculty have been selected. Our first faculty meeting is tomorrow. And then from February through April, so the January one is just intro. The next one is going to be them doing some training to learn what it means to be faculty. And then hopefully they will know earlier than in the past what their session is. So they will know by May what session they're presenting and feel better prepared through the summer to put together that presentation. And then we were actually going to have them do their presentations to the faculty group. That's also something that didn't happen in the past. So they can get critiques and updates and feedback on their presentations. And then I'm bringing back the pre-STARS cluster meeting. So participants should not go to STARS and that be the first time they've met their faculty member or their cluster. And so meeting prior, and then the hope is to actually have one afterwards as well to check in with our participants as they're preparing to apply to grad school, if that's what they're doing, or just check in a month or so after STARS to see what have you done with the information you learned at STARS. So that's my kind of action plan in a nutshell. That appears to be somebody else's,
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I know exactly. Thank you, Sasha. Great work. All right. We're going to move to BPN and then the Multicultural Planning Committee.
Okay, there we go. Hi, so my name is Amber. I'm the chair For the Black Professionals Network, so I started out as programming chair, and then I was chair-elect last year, and I was also a part of it when we were in the transition from Professionals of Color to now the Black Professionals Network. So we have a lot of identity and affinity networks and things now. So we were able to transition fully and be the Black Professionals Network. Next slide, please. So the leadership. So I am at Georgia State University, but I have my housing experience at the University of South Florida, Georgia Institute of Technology, and University of Texas at Austin. My chair-elect was not able to join us today. They have a training in their department, but Alexis Monterio, he uses he, him pronouns, and sometimes you will often hear Alexis referred to as AT because our Okuhuai liaison is also Alexis. So that is a way we separate the two in email communication and things of that nature. And then we have Joshua, who is over marketing communications, and he'll actually be helping us nominate people for different awards, because that is a goal of ours, is to get more Black professionals nominated for different awards, as well as eventually launch a specific BPN awards, because we want to recognize leaders at all levels who are doing great work. Our member at large is Jafon Stobbs. They both, Alexis and Jafon, happen to be at the University of Connecticut. So we have a mentorship program. So Jafon's really going to spearhead that program for us, because we do a lot of roundtable educational programming, which I'll discuss in the next slides. And from that programming, we learned that we need to have more opportunities for people to connect and dive deeper. And some of those things are just personal. And we also want to give people an opportunity to learn from people like outside of their departments and things like that, and build that network. So we have a mentorship program. And let's see, I'll have 2 outreach chairs, and Kayla and Emmanuel. So we're actually forming a subcommittee. They're going to help us with regional connection, because there's certain regions like CEHO where I was a part of CEHO for the longest. You could go in and they're going to have a social, and they're going to have all the things set up, and Black professionals are able to connect and find each other easily. And then there's some regions where that is a harder task. Or some people may be one of very few in their department. So creating spaces where they can get the support and feel like they are supported professionally, personally, and things like that. We have 2 programming chairs, Saray and Kiera. So they will be doing the roundtables, and they will also be helping us with the Multicultural Institute Symposium and a lot of our educational programming. And that is pretty much to the board. So next slide. Okay. Yes, okay, goals. So basically we have leadership beyond the chair and chair-elect role. I just listed that, and that is a lot of our charges. So in terms of doing recognition, in terms of doing outreach, in terms of doing our programming, that is really predicated, and that's why we have designed the board and designated each chair in each role. So that's gonna be who leads our projects. We would like to submit a pre-conference, which we have already submitted a pre-conference for Campus Home Live. That was actually recommended by one of our members to have visibility as BPN. So that's something we keep doing annually now. We can't guarantee we're going to get selected, but we will keep submitting and trying and being a space there. So serving all members, that's in really everything that we do in the whole board in all areas. We want to serve and be a knowledge for BPN members. We'll designate somebody for the Multicultural Symposium Institute. We have a mentorship program, we have outreach, and a monthly round. We go to the next slide. There we go. So if there are months missing here, it would be like August. A lot of our members are in RA training and things like that, so we tend not to program at those times of year, or we're looking to do some more quarterly more informal sessions, because our roundtables are very education topic driven. We usually have panelists, speakers, other industry experts come in and present topics. So because they tend to be educational based, We wanted to create more spaces throughout the year to connect more informally, just because some people may not be able to go to the regional conference or Campus Home Live, but they'll be able to connect, as well as some of our focuses are also trying to meet different members. So for example, supervising and supporting graduate students, we haven't done as much in that space intentionally. We're always there to provide support, but that is a big topic in a lot of our departments. We want to make sure our professionals are prepared, and our graduate students also have ways to advance and know and learn and grow. So those are some of our topics that we'll have coming up, or we anticipate having coming up for the 2024 year. And that is it. We love collaboration as well. So like our Black Women in Housing has been a collaboration with the Women in Housing Network. We've collaborated with the Latin Network, or we were able to attend one of their sessions. So we are always looking for collaborations. And even if it's something as small as like the Women in Housing, we had a Talking Stick article, or we were working on preparing a Talking Stick article. So it doesn't always have to be like we're doing something super active, but if there's small ways we can collaborate and kind of cross brand and support each other's needs, we're always open.
Great. Thank you, Amber. And next we have the Multicultural Planning Committee.
All right. Hi, everyone. I will keep it quick. My name is Paige Hicks, and I'm serving as the chair for the Multicultural Planning Committee. And so happy to hear, as folks were sharing out, that there's a lot of energy and collaboration this year. And so 2024 is our year. We are a newer committee. And so we just turned 1, actually. And so we're a small but mighty group, and I'm excited to engage with you all a little bit more this year. For our goals, visions, and outlook, truly, we have 2 goals, and it's to coordinate the efforts and programming and resources for the Institute, which is in the fall, and then the symposium that's in the spring. The third piece that most folks don't know about is that we have a professional development group that we're trying to build out. And so what does learning look like outside of the Institute and the symposium? So more information comes soon. And then our second goal is just to help with building the Professional Colors Network reception at the annual conference. And so how will we get there? Great question. We are working on scheduling meetings now. And so a meeting already went out to the folks that have expressed interest. I've also heard that today that folks are interested in sending members over. And so I will share that information out. I think Alexis is also going to send some things out to people. So thank you in advance for sending folks to represent your organization or your group as well. Another piece is really extending meeting invitations to other networks and committees. And so that representation piece is important, but also because we are a new group, we're small as well. And so we're also hoping that folks can kind of share out about the good work of this committee and another way for folks to get involved. Another goal that we have, or action plan, is really identifying topics and speakers differently this year. And so we are exploring what does it mean to maybe have a submission portal this year for the Multicultural Planning Group? What does it mean to reach out to the networks? And our sessions earlier today in our small groups, one of the folks in that space shared, what does it mean to maybe connect with regional directors, president, to see if they have feedback around thoughts around trends and what's going on. We are also thinking about our subcommittee chair experience because we are a small group. It's important that we think about how we build the pipeline for folks to stay interested and engaged in the Multicultural Planning Group. And so thinking about development for them. And then our last piece, we'll want to reach out to other committees and networks 3 months before Campus Home Live so we can plan a successful Professionals of Color Network reception. That's all that I have.
Outstanding. Thank you, Paige. Our next 3 we have the Membership Committee, the Live In Network, and the Housing Internship Program. So I'm going to pass it over to the Membership Committee.
Hi, I'm Michael Griffel with the Membership Committee. Huge thank you to Megan Bricker for all of her work on this. You all can help tremendously with the Membership Committee. The goal would be to have a net increase of 3% in growing membership, and your outreach with those folks whose membership has elapsed or who are not members and could benefit from being members can help tremendously. In addition to growing membership, we're hoping to increase engagement with many of you in your committees, and to review and audit member benefits. We want to be able to get information out to you so you have quick and easy audit points of both concrete sort of financial return on investment benefits of being members of ACUHO-I, as well as all the intangibles that we experience all the time. And we'll probably be connecting with some of you about you articulating some of those intangibles, or maybe they're tangible, benefits of being an ACUHO-I member. So, as I mentioned, we want to bring back some of the lapsed members. You can help us with that, increase renewals, and have people, schools, institutions who have not been members to join. We certainly, the global involvement network is incredibly important. We want to grow membership outside the U.S. and are always interested in people's input and assistance with that. We'll be working with the marketing team to get good communication out again so that you've got great talking points to help. And each of you are super important for member engagement, which is a huge benefit of being involved in ACUHO-I. Somewhat in both intangible and tangible. Thanks.
Thank you,
3%.
Michael.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We all can help out with that. And we are down to our final 3 presentations, unless there's one that's going to sneak into the education inbox. So we've got Live-In, we've got the Housing Internship Program, and we've got Women in Housing as our final 3. So let me move it over to the Live-In network. And I might, Brianna, you're out there, but we'll come back to you if you're able to hop back on. We'll hop over to the Housing Internship Program.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yolanda Graham. I am the chair for the Housing Internship Program Committee. So I want to talk to you quickly today about our goals for this year and some of the ways that we're aiming to accomplish them. So some primary goals that we have are to provide continued support for candidates and hosts. Spencer, if you can move to the next slide. Thank you. To provide continued support for candidates and hosts through the Housing Internship Program interview process. So throughout the years, we've done a number of webinars that have had really good interaction from hosts and candidates who are trying to figure out how to navigate. And so we're going to continue to focus our attention there to provide more focused resources for internship hosts to support them in the opportunities and experiences that they provide for interns. That has been a consistent place where we've gotten feedback from interns about their experience. And we also got a lot of questions when we've done webinars for hosts. And so we're going to make a concerted effort this year to put some additional attention to the resources that we provide for internship hosts so they can feel prepared throughout the process and while they have interns on their campus. To increase summer intern connection to ACUHO-I, and then to continue to expand the annual virtual intern summit. I'll talk a bit more about that one on our next slide. So how we will accomplish these goals, we already have a slate of about 3 to 4 webinars that we're going to be doing for interns and interns and hosts, interns and hosts from January to April. We'll have our first one, I think coming up on the 17th of January is when that first one's going to be. And we'll have them throughout the next few months. Or we're hosting our second annual virtual intern summit, which is a half-day experience that we created last year that was really focused on supplementing the learning and development that we know interns are doing in their summer programs, and also giving them space to connect with each other, learn more beyond the campuses they're on for the summer, and also build connection to ACUHO-I. So we've seen the trend that people kind of do the housing internship program and maybe don't realize that it's connected to ACUHO-I and don't get involved. And so this virtual intern summit is really a place for us to build up the future of the profession and also help them to to stay engaged with Akuhuai and start to get engaged regionally as well. And then we are also hoping to present at Campus Home Live this year to increase HIP visibility, and then also to encourage host participation, just so that we can continue to build on the number of folks who are putting up internships in the program, and then also those who are encouraging grads that they know or undergrads that they know to participate in the program.
All right, thank you so much. Brianna, I'll have you hop back on here. We're going to go back to Live in Network, and then we'll go to Women in Housing.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Brianna, and I'm the Live-In Chair. So we have 5 network charges. The first one is to enhance professional development opportunities. Network charge 2 is to foster collaborative networking. Network charge 3 is to promote best practices in living environments. And network charge 4 is to increase engagement and participation. And last but not least, network charge number 5 is to establish the network as a leading resource. All right, so how we plan to reach our goals is for us to first focus on enhancing professional development opportunities. One of those things that we will plan to do is called leveraging while living in. The next thing would be leading while living in, which is February 28th at 4 p.m. In March, we plan to do how to maximize mentorship opportunities while also turning it into professional development opportunities, and that is planned for March 27th at 4 p.m. And in May, we have the Akuho'ai Network involvement. It will be an opportunity for us to learn more about Akuho'ai, or I should say for living professionals to learn more about Akuho'ai and how they can be involved and how that can enhance their professional careers. Network charge 2 and 4, we will focus on the Live-In Link Up, which will be a 1-hour networking session with living professionals across the country. This is something that we would like to do, and we would like to collaborate with other networks if possible. So please feel free, group chat me or send me an email. I'll put my email in the chat, but we're looking forward to collaborating with this event. And this will be on January 31st at 3 p.m. Network charge number 1, which will be the Live-In Lifesaver series on Fridays at 3 p.m. So the Live-In Lifesaver series will be focusing on different things, or I should say short 25-minute sessions where professionals will share a practical tip that help them tremendously while living on. So some of those ideas can be advocacy or supervision or managing your time. These will take place February 16th, March 15th, and May 10th at 3 p.m. And for network charge number 5, establish the network as a leading resource. We plan to have use the Talking Stick magazine for living policies, case studies, etc. And network charge number 3 is to promote best practices in living environments. One of the webinars, or I should say workshops we would like to have is learning while living in. This would be specifically for those who are mid-level to senior level advanced professionals who can share insight on how they have they are leading while living on or have led while living on. So if there's anyone here who used to live on, please group chat me as well. And that will be all.
Thank you so much, Brianna. We're going to go to our final presentation of our time, and that is Women in Housing.
Hey all, my name is Kunika McDonald. I am one of the chairs of the Women in Housing Network. I want to apologize in advance. I'm currently working from home. So I have 2 5-month twins, my dogs and Miss Rachel on. So if you hear that, I'm really sorry. Next slide, please. So I'm an image gal, and so I was trying to keep this short. So I'll work with Maria and we can become more detailed. But these images correlate to our success measures. So I will talk about the network charge and then what our measures are. So our first network charge is really having Women in Housing Network serve as a primary knowledge base to educate members of the QUI membership on issues and needs of professionals that identify as women, specifically as it relates to on-campus student housing. And so with that, one of our success measures is really, again, leaning on collaboration. There's a QI communities to really engage our membership and help build community. We really look at this as what is our purpose and how are we sharing that out so folks can really know what we are as a network. In addition to that, obviously, by doing that, we're hoping to increase our membership numbers and of course, our engagement. Our second network charge is offering our monthly virtual roundtables. I believe that Deanna and Michelle left a great foundation for us. And so we want to continue those bi-weekly meetings and offer one that's topical based and then obviously kind of an open forum dialogue one. Those seem to really be a hit with the past chairs. A part of those success measures, we again are leaning on collaboration. So we really want to continue that partnership that we had with the Black Professionals Network, specifically looking at the Black Women in Housing series. They continue that in March. And then enhancing our informal spaces. So particularly looking at TED Talks, maybe I don't know, a light paper or book discussion and things like that to having kind of more of those informal settings. Our next network charge is focusing on participating in QI's Multicultural Symposium and the Multicultural Institute hosted in fall, and also the Professional of Color Network Spaces at the end of the annual conference. And so with that, again, you'll hear this throughout me talking, is again leading on that collaboration. And so how are we participating in those planning processes for the symposium, for the Multicultural Institute and the People of Color Network Space, and then ensuring that we have representation with those other groups and networks here in terms of like helping planning and then bringing those updates to our own network appropriately. Our last charge, well, we have two more, sorry, is looking at how we want to collaborate with our affinity groups. We shared earlier in talking with the networks, we'd love to do some partnership with globalization and sustainability, maybe on Women's International Day. And so really thinking about how can we be creative in our educational offerings for our QI membership. And so a part of that is hoping to, again, continue those collaboration efforts, specifically looking at our Black Professionals Network and those partnerships, maybe doing a virtual roundtable or talking stick, and then also how can we partner with other affinity groups that may be presented on this call, or really anyone on the call if you want to connect with us. And then you can go to their, one of the other things, in addition to that charge, is increasing our membership engagement. And so we want to utilize social media more. How do we continue maintaining that momentum from maybe our roundtable to the next one and so forth? And so how can we start being more engaged with our folks when they are not maybe meeting with us? Next slide, please. So Maria and I didn't have an opportunity to chat, so we plan on meeting tomorrow. Yesterday I was in training, and then we left campus early for a storm, and she is now dealing with a state of emergency as well. So we're going to connect tomorrow and we'll provide more details in terms of our action plan. But the biggest thing we talked about briefly today was the historical content. What has happened in the past, what do we want to do now, and looking towards the future. And one of the things that we really found helpful was the network charge draft that Michelle and Deanna provided. It really provided a good foundation for us. And so we're really hoping to take in all of that, what other programs have happened, and really build upon that and see what's going to work for us this coming year. In terms of collaboration, I think that's what has been successful in terms of our conversations. When we connected with Deanna, Michelle, and Alexis and talking about this opportunity of becoming chairs. And so we really hope that folks will continue to be open with us and be interested in new ideas and wanting to work with us. And lastly, we want to lean into the I'm new here concept and really be transparent with that. So there are sorry about the yelling, guys. So there would definitely be times where we may ask questions that may seem repetitive or just want to try and navigate something different in the space of what Women in Housing has done, and really hope that y'all will be open to that and engaging with us, and know that we may not know it all, but we really are excited and really want to work with you all. So thanks for having us, and I apologize for all the noise.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Great graphics, and do not worry about the noise. So that concludes our slideshow of all the great things we're going to do in 2024. And I'm going to pass it over to our KUI CEO, Mary De Niro.
Well, thanks everybody. It was just really thrilling to listen to all the things that you all want to do. I came into 2024 with a great sense of optimism, and I am leaving this volunteer summit with even more optimism about what we can all accomplish together. So thank you very, very much. You know, I encourage you, as you are working on your plans, to use the tools that are out there that a KUI has, such as the online community. Post on the online community, start a conversation, promote your events on the online community, let people know what you're doing. That is an easy thing that you or a committee member can do. And it's a great way to get your name out there, but also the work that your group is doing. You know, people engage in a KUI in a lot of different ways. I often have people who tell me, you know, Mary, I know exactly what's going on at a KUI because I read the talking stick in the journal and I'm on the online community. And then I go and I check to see how many times they post. 0. But they read it. You know, they're like some folks on social media. They never post, but they love to know what's going on. And we have to try to reach people in all different ways. So I really encourage you to use the online community. I also encourage you to work with your professional staff liaison to make sure that we're putting things in connections, even if it's little blurbs, etc. It's another great way just to let people know what's going on. And that reaches a whole range of, both those tools reach a whole range of people, you know, across the spectrum of campus housing. I hope that you enjoyed your 2 half days together. I certainly enjoyed being with you. I certainly enjoyed getting to meet many of you and, you know, have little chats over here. I encourage you to call me, let me know how I can help you in your efforts. I encourage you to use your professional staff person, to use each other, your executive board members, and also all the new people that you're going to meet in a KUI. Have open arms. Let them sit in on a committee meeting, hear what you're doing. Many times people don't know how to get involved. And so when somebody says, oh, I would love to be involved, but I don't know how, invite them to a committee meeting. We don't have too many secrets, you know, and we could always use a different perspective, a different point of view from somebody. So always invite them in. You know, and finally, I just want to say thank you for investing in a KUI and investing in yourself. You all are very, very busy people. I know that your days are not easy, and some days they're really, really hard. But I hope these 2 half days gave you a little moment to step back, to meet some new people, to dream big, to dream creatively. I saw one group, dream big. You know, we have freedom to do lots of things other than move our conferences to Hawaii. But there's a lot of things that we can do. We have the power to do it, and we have the authority to do it. And so I hope you take me up on that offer. I hope you have a wonderful winter semester or quarter. And I hope I see everybody between now and Milwaukee at Campus Home Live. And one more time, I'm going to put my cell phone number in the chat, just in case you didn't get it before. So thanks so much.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much for your words, and thank you everyone for your presentations. They were amazing, and I'm so excited to see you all carry out your goals this upcoming year, and excited to see the impact that it has on our members, because I really think that our membership does respond well and really appreciates everything that you all do and all of the offerings that you provide. So a few final announcements before we wrap up today. This is far in the future, but a high touch area for you all as volunteers. So the 2024 Volunteer Leader Recruitment Drive typically begins in September and October to recruit for open volunteer leadership positions in the following year. I will add that recruitment is kind of always happening. So as you interact with other members who might not be involved or maybe at Campus Home Live, make sure to sing the praises of your experience with your network, what your network has going on, because we don't want to wait until September comes around for people to know what opportunities there are to get involved. And so that's mostly a one-stop shop for engagement opportunities. And next year, as we did this year, we're hoping to consolidate the processes to make the application all inclusive for its members. I know some of you all went through that this year, so you're kind of familiar. My final announcement is just to be sure that you have your regular meeting set up with your professional staff leader following today's summit. We will also be sending out a survey about this experience, so we'd love your feedback. We'd love to continue to improve this process, to improve this event in the future. And then a final reminder to just please send your updated headshot for the volunteer photo frame to Spencer if you'd like to update your photo from your volunteer application. And with that, that would be the conclusion of our 2024 Volunteer Summit. We really appreciate your time and we are looking forward to an amazing 2024. Thank you all.